Well, hi, everybody. We're starting, but they already started ahead of us at the UFC. There was a massive knockout. By the way, my name's Rafa Sparza. Welcome to the show. You're watching the Grappling Hour. Tonight, we're watching UFC Fight Island 6, or as it's also known on, Wikipedia, as UFC on ESPN Plus 38, or UFC Fight Night 180. But they don't go by those. We just do the hashtag UFC Fight Island 6. I hope that you are enjoying your day today. That last fight, I don't know what to tell you other than we had our equipment set up and we were about to press the start button, and then I saw the finish, and it didn't take long. It was a 52-second knockout for Said Nurmagomedov, which, by the way, is actually spelled out said. So it is very difficult to get back on, kind of track here. Anyway, we're going to be here all night. We're first starting off with the prelims. We've got a few more left for you. We'll be joined by our good friend Dan Hubler in just a few minutes. We're going to give him some time. I'm sure he's probably processing that. And I can tell you some good news. He did not suggest that you bet on that one. So if you did, that was your own fault. And they tried to warn you in those preliminary packages that they were airing walking into the octagon. But yes, they are back over at the Flood, or is it the Flash Forum, is what they call it over there, over in Abu Dhabi at Yas Island. And, we're there one more week. Next week, we have the big Justin Gaethje and Khabib Nurmagomedov fight, which is going to be early. That fight, the main card starts not at 7 p.m., but at 11 a.m. So we're all going to be a little cranky in the morning. That's just kind of what happens. And we're going to kind of waltz our way through it somehow. I would suggest maybe bring some coffee. I don't know that we're going to be toasting with the heaviest of beers in the morning. Some of you can do it. Some of you are in different time zones, so I have no issue with that. And if you're in the West Coast time zone, then, do as you please. I'm not here to tell you how to live. I'm just letting you know that next week, if we are cheersing them with coffee, just understand it's because it's 11 a.m. Anyway, they're going to bring on Antiquila versus Gershon this evening. So this is one of those get-to-know-them fight nights. There are going to be some folks that are new. So this is a good experimental way. And I do find that next week they're just starting to release more of the card. We'll also kind of preview some of those fights. It does look like tomorrow we may be doing a live broadcast of some sort for Verbal Tap, so keep a lookout for that. As you may or may not know, Kevin Wint got married. Looks great. Had a great amount of photos that they were sharing, so everything turned out wonderfully. I would have been there, but they decided to do no friends or family outside of their extended little group of about 11 of them. So he was very sad about that, but I can tell you he and Vicky looked great. They were having a good time. I already got a note from him. But Kevin is going to be taking a couple weeks off from Verbal Tap. So what we're going to end up doing is we're going to do a version of Over Under Kevin without Kevin. So we are lining up some guests, and we will have more information about that, I think, a little bit later, even this evening. So that's kind of what we got going on. Plus, the next installment of Grappling Hour will air on Tuesday. We'll be getting those guests within the next day or so. So keep a lookout for all those things. That's kind of what's bubbling underneath. So just some housekeeping notes. Please give some love to our friends over at NoGeekBJJGear.com. If you use the promotional code GrapplingHour15, you save 15% off of whatever you put in your cart. And our good friends over at DodgyCollective.com. They have great rash guards, spats. Their artwork is amazing. And I hear they are going to have some excellent discounts. I saw that they had hand wraps that were at the 50% region off. So I would highly encourage those of you who do some boxing and want to get some of those, go on over to DodgyCollective.com. Let's go ahead and put up the branding for the next fight so that y'all know exactly who is coming up next. That, of course, is Antiquila versus Gershon. Try saying his first name, as I guess kind of the little clue I've got for you today. It's not easy. As is, this is a It's going to be a not RAF-friendly name card. We're going to be yelling a lot and making fun of some names, so just deal with us as we go on. But again, if you didn't get the chance to see the original knockout that we were just talking about with Nurmagomedov, take some time. I think ESPN's going to have that up very quickly. Let's hope quickly in the way that they put up the Joaquin Buckley one that just blew our minds last week, which, by the way, what a moment. So shout out to everybody who's watching right now. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. I see you both on, what is this, the YouTube and the Facebook. We're going to go to Periscope in just a minute as well. So we thank all of you. We're going to have some new tricks coming up very soon. We'll reveal that one a little bit later for some stuff. But I do see we have a friend in the green room, which means it's time to run his promotional packaging. Bitch better have my money. I normally just press the button and it goes. Bitch better have my money. This one might take a second here, everybody. Bitch better have my money. Well, if I press... Bitch better have my money. I guess it cannot find Dan's music. Well, that's unfortunate. All right, well, anyway. Dan's music. Bum, bum, bum. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the show, Dan Hubler. Dan, how are you, sir? Oh, nope, you're muted. You got to unmute you.
I heard the music for a second. I saw a picture of Craig Jones. I was like, these people are going to be really fucking disappointed.
I mean, that's my intro. You get your own intro. Unfortunately, it did not want to play nice. It could be that I was organizing my desktop. Bitch better have my money. Bitch better have my money. Hey, what you want? Bitch better have my money.
There we go.
Well, I guess it works.
Yeah.
Dan, let's talk a little bit about what you're seeing right now. Did you see the opening knockout?
Yeah, I did. I was pleasantly surprised to see a first round finish there. I thought Nurmagomedov was going to take it to a decision, implement his wrestling game. But for him to get that first round knockout, kind of puts his name out there. And now he's not the only Nurmagomedov that people are paying attention to. So good for him.
It was pretty impressive. And I just like the fact that as I was trying to get a hold of what was going on, I was about to press start. And then I said, oh, I think this might end soon. And it's done. All right, we'll wait for a few seconds. Well, tonight's an interesting night, and you seem like you have some picks that I don't want to say are suspect, but that at least one of them I will have questions about your integrity as a linesman, if you would. Why don't we start right up at the bottom where, if I am going over this correctly, you started this evening with Senor, is this Jonathan? Is that Martinez? Am I right on that one? Let me pull up the graphic for us. All right.
I like Martinez in that fight a lot.
All right. I'm going to ask you why, and I'm going to give you the floor in just a second once we get this up. But what about Martinez spoke to you?
Well, first of all, I like the fact that this is a southpaw versus southpaw fight. We saw Martinez fight another southpaw against Ewell in his second, 2 fights ago. In this fight, I don't think Thomas is going to have the same experience against other southpaw fighters. If you look at his whole history of UFC, his UFC record, he's never fought another southpaw. And I think, that presents some interesting dynamics for Martinez. He likes to implement that early calf kick. He likes to get the kicks to the body working early on. And I think having that southpaw stance is going to kind of create some challenges for Thomas and some opportunities for Martinez. I also think for as far as Thomas goes, he's kind of a bit of a glass cannon. He goes for that early finish. I kind of look at him as a tiny Johnny Walker. Like, he might get that knockout early in round 1, and he also might get knocked the fuck out. So, when I look at a fighter like that, and I look at, the fact that he absorbs 4.65 significant strikes per minute, I think in a fight against a guy like Martinez who can go all 3 rounds and throw those, incredibly powerful knees the entire time, I think that's too many strikes and too many minutes and too many opportunities for Martinez to land. So I'm taking Martinez a slight underdog in that fight, plus 122, betting $5 to win 610. In fact, I'm betting on a lot of underdogs tonight, as you probably noticed.
Second, coming back on this, I did notice a couple things. I like the fact that you had put on here a glass cannon, and when you call him a mini Johnny Walker, it is very vivid images that you are presenting here.
Yeah, I mean, I think Johnny Walker is like if you think of a glass cannon fighter, Johnny Walker is that guy. Like he's got incredible power. He can knock people out really really well, and he can also get knocked out just as easily. So I think Thomas is kind of in that same boat there. He looks for those early flurries, and he sometimes kind of throws the defense out the window just to throw as much offense as possible. And I think with a more measured fighter like Jonathan Martinez, that's going to bite him in the ass.
Fair enough. I just like the fact that as I was looking through some of these and I saw that you were on Jonathan Martinez, I was like, well, we've got some time. So Dan didn't pick right up at top so that we've got a little bit of time to play with, because I felt so bad last week as we were going to air and we already had somebody that had fought. So I think we're learning as we go. And I think that was a valuable lesson to get in.
It also helps that some of these early fights, the favorites are such massive favorites, they don't really call for any betting on.
And as I mentioned this evening, we're kind of in that weird moment with Fight Island where we've seen some fights, but we're really just kind of in that holding pattern without a couple of these. Like the prelims tonight are going to be get to know these guys kind of fights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Gershon's going to get it done in this one, but I'm not super excited about the matchup. I think it's probably going to be a pretty dominant decision, but I'm not seeing a finish here, but it'll still tell us a little bit more about Gershon moving forward. I think he has the much bigger upside, and I think the win here would be significantly bigger deal for him. But again, it's on the prelims for a reason. It's a compelling fight, but it's not as compelling as some of the later matchups.
Antiquila, and I don't want to say too many things out of turn here, almost looks like he's colored in back the hair that was gone up top. So
yeah, I mean, when I don't know right off the top of my head how old he is, but he's on a 3-fight skid. At these heavier weight classes, I think it's a lot harder to rebound from something like that. You lost 3 in a row and been finished the last 3 times in a row. It's a lot harder for him. It's going to be a lot harder for him to find matchups for him to rebound with, and I think Grisham's a bad matchup for him.
Absolutely. All right, let's continue on this. I'm going to let you give us a little bit of a peek into the next pick, which looks like Claudio
Silva. Yeah. James Cross is a hard guy to bet against. He's been on such a tear, and he even looked good on that fight he took most recently on a couple days' notice where he fought up a weight class. He looked pretty good in that fight. So it's really hard to bet against him. But when we look at, the raw data on this fight, I think that's kind of where the advantages kind of start to stand out. Silva has a 3.32 takedown average in matches, and I think that's way too many takedowns for a guy like Cross, who has only a 50% takedown defense rating. So it's very likely at some point in this fight, Silva's going to get a takedown. It's based on the data, it's very likely he's going to get at least 3 takedowns over the course of this fight. And with Cross only defending about half the time, I just think that we're going to see a lot of this fight take place on the floor. Silva also only absorbs 2.17 significant strikes per minute on average, so he's not taking a whole lot of damage, and a lot of that has to do with his ability to slow things down once it gets to the floor. Now, he does tend to tire out in fights. If this goes to a round 3, I wouldn't be, very shocked to see a Cross late TKO. But I think the more likely scenario here is that Silva does get a first-round takedown. If we take a look at, Cross's body of work and we look at his fight against Moraes, he was taken down pretty early. Moraes wasn't able to keep him down, and as a result, Moraes tired and got lit up on the feet. I think we're going to see a similar fight to that, except if Silva takes down Cross, I don't see him getting back up. And I think the likely scenarios that we see a round 1, maybe round 2 submission here for Silva. You're muted, Graf.
Yeah, I was also looking at this. I do like the fact that when you are starting to do this and you start to differentiate on here, because on this one, you felt like a particular thing with, you said almost 4 bullet points. You do that thing as a teacher where you give me 3 usually, and that's amazing. But that you almost have this 4th one that's almost like a subsection of this. But I'd like to repeat this. The difference being that if Silva rounds Krause in 1, he probably ends the fight. So that's the caveat that you're putting on that one.
Yeah, I think, the Moraes fight, I think he kind of created a blueprint for beating Cross on the ground. He took him down pretty early. He had some dominant ground positions. He just couldn't keep him there. And then after that, he kind of engaged in a stand-up battle, which I don't get. All these BJJ black belts with amazing ground games fall in love with striking and end up losing decisions that, they shouldn't lose. But I think if Silva, gets this to the ground early in the fight, it's not going to turn into a striking battle. I think he'll keep it there. I think he'll get the finish.
Interesting. All right, let's keep this going. I notice on this is where people are probably going to be not full raised eyebrow, but let's get over to your endorsement of Caitlin Shook again.
Yeah, blonde fighter, man. I think the fight. I think she should be the favorite in this fight. I don't know if you guys saw the pictures of the weigh-ins, and I know that the size advantage only means so much, but I think in this type of fight, with both of these fighters having the styles that they do, that size and reach advantage is the entire fight right there. I mean, Andrade has made a career on being the stronger fighter, able to bully things around and dictate where the fight takes place. She's moving up in weight, which is going to kind of take away that advantage for her. And also, blonde fighter Kochigian has made a career on, fighting at distance, using her length, keeping her opponent back and kind of jumping in, popping back out. I think the size difference in this fight is pretty dramatic, and I think it just creates an opportunity for Kochigian to fight the fight she wants to fight. She can she can use her length and keep Andrade at distance, let Andrade load up on her strikes. Kind of pick her apart. And I don't think it's going to be dominant in any fashion, but I do think that she will win a decision. And I think, as long as she can stay out of prolonged clinch exchanges, it'll be a pretty, I don't want to say uneventful, because I do think she'll land a lot of strikes. I just don't think she's going to land a lot of significant strikes. I don't see her getting the finish, but I see her winning the decision.
What, if anything, is worrying you about this matchup for Andrade in particular?
As far as, her power, she carries that power, the entire fight. She does start to slow down a little bit towards the later rounds, but with this only being a 3-rounder and not a 5, former champion with only 3 rounds to work with, I think she's going to maintain that power the entire 3. So Kochigian's going to have to be wary of that for the full 15 minutes. She's going to have to keep her distance and be very scientific in the way she's moving, because if she gets caught at any point in this fight, I could see her going down.
Got it. All right, noted. So I guess this is the one that I should probably ask about. And I don't know that I see a lot of people disagreeing with you, because when we put up just an informal poll, not an official poll, but we had one where people were sending their support for the Korean Zombie. And I guess the first thing I should say to you is, Dan, your alias on Instagram is what again?
It is Korean Zombie, yeah. I think it's an interesting dynamic. I would like to have a conversation with Jung's management and see, like, do you want this or something? It's like he's never really outrightly asked for it. There was this bizarre thing a long time ago. Because I picked the name when Instagram first came out. I don't know what year that was, but it seems like it was a decade ago. But I was like, man, that's a really cool name. And this was when he was fighting in the WEC, and he was still like this up and comer. And he was like one of the only like Korean guys like doing it in one of the bigger leagues. And I was like, man, this guy's like awesome. Like, look at the way he fights. He just eats these strikes. It's like, this guy's super cool. And so like no one really had Instagram when it first came out. So like all these celebrities like didn't, join the platform and take up all these usernames. So I was like, oh, it's available? Yeah, hell yeah, I'll take it. And I just stuck with it. And then it wasn't until like years after that where he actually joined Instagram. And by then I had like a few thousand followers or something like that. And he only had like 1,000. Like I had more than him. I was like, man, people think like people were like following me thinking I was him. And like, it was a mess. But I remember like his wife like posted, it's like right after I grew up my mustache and I was competing a lot at Blue Belt. And his wife like posted like these pictures with like the Korean Zombie logo, except with a full mustache. And like, I don't know. It was very bizarre. I never like asked him about it or anything like that. But I was like, man, I wonder if he wants this at this point. But now he has more followers than me, so I think he's good.
fighting in the UFC will do that sort of a thing. I'm just curious in the sense that last week you previewed it, and I didn't want to put you there yet because that was the preview show.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, when you were telling us last week, you're like, there's no way that the Korean Zombie is going to lose this. And then you put on this, our official betting little note here.
Mm-hmm.
You have put him as someone that people should put money on. I just want to make sure that we are not having a conflict of interest, given the fact that maybe this is an additional attempt by you to extort some money from him.
No, not at all. I think this is one of the most interesting lines on the entire card. I think the fact that he is only a 2-1 favorite is ridiculous. I think he should be a much bigger favorite. So I think just the line alone has a ton of value in it. Getting him at that price is a no-brainer. Even if he loses this fight, I would not feel bad about taking him at these odds. It just makes no sense when you really look at the numbers. Brian Ortega is a very talented fighter. He has a lot of upside, but he's not well-rounded when we really think about it. And when we think about Korean Zombie as a fighter, he is. And so I think when we look at all the intangibles here, and when we look at all the data, it makes no sense what the line currently is. I know if you look at the layoff alone, Ortega, it's been 679 days since he last fought. And what was his last fight? It was a 4-down beatdown where Max Holloway, took his soul in that fight. So, I definitely think he can rebound from that. But to rebound in a fight, a comeback fight against Korean Zombie, I think that's a very tall order. And to make matters worse, it looks like he had a pretty rough weight cut. He hasn't really talked about shaving the hair. He said he's donating it to kids with cancer and all that. But I don't believe that was the intention going into the weight cut. If you watch the behind the scenes video, it seems like they were pretty optimistic going into the weight cut. He still had all the hair, and things didn't go well. I know they're having to cut in the hotel conference rooms and those little tiny saunas and stuff like that, so things might not be what he's used to. But if he had a difficult weight cut coming after like a 2-year layoff, all these things kind of give the advantage to the Korean Zombie.
I want to come back to this, which is abysmal 5% takedown average. I didn't know that. I could tell you maybe I don't remember him having any kind of takedown just as a base knowledge, but holy shit, 1 out of 18.
Yeah, I mean, I think most people would be surprised to see that on paper. But if you think back to Brian Ortega's fights, how does he ground the fight? He always pulls guard. You know what I mean? When people, are dumb enough to shoot a high takedown on him, a high single, and leave their head out there, he pulls guard, he jumps for the guillotine, he gets it to the ground that way. So I think the issue here is he doesn't have the tools to take the fight where he needs to win. He wins this fight on the ground. Does he have the wrestling to do that? History tells us no. Does he have the striking to keep Zombie honest and, make him afraid of the striking and then implement the takedown? I don't think so. If we look at the way he's fought in the past, he does not have a round-winning style. He oftentimes gives up, a lot of rounds. If we look at just the rounds that have gone the distance, out of 13 of them, you could maybe say he's won 3. He had to come from behind to fight against Swanson. He had to get that victory from behind. He got that come from behind victory against Clay Guida. He got against Moicano. He was losing that fight. If we really look at Brian Ortega's past fights, I think it's easy to remember the finishes where he submitted his opponent. But think about the rounds right before that he lost. Do we think he can get a come from behind victory against Zombie? I don't think so. It's happened once with 1 second left in a fight, but I don't think that kind of shit's going to happen again. And, and the main thing, too, is Korean Zombie was not in the tax collector.
I was going to ask you about that because before I could put this up, I said, I have this ticker moment that is sliding down here. But I said before I can put up this ticker because we've put up some wacky tickers before. And this is all supplied by Dan. These are all his words. But when I saw that one, I said, that's a special sort of extra analysis. Does being in a bad movie make you not able to fight well, Dan?
Yeah, it's got to be in his head somewhere. You know what I mean? It's got to be. I know people are like, oh, you know, the haters, whatever. Like, it's got to be in your head somewhere. Like, everybody fucking hated that movie. Like, there's a handful of black belts who think the Earth is flat, who were like on my Facebook saying, oh, it was so great. But like, what the fuck do they know? That movie was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. It's got to be in his head somewhere. He's coming from a long layoff. Got a 4-round beatdown in his last fight. In his downtime, made a terrible movie. Like, there's got to be a lot of pressure on him. He has to perform. This fight has to make more noise than that movie did. And I think that's a lot of pressure to put on him. You're muted again, Ref.
Thank you. I thought I pressed the button. I got to tell you, I don't always understand a ton of analysis, but movie analysis always speaks to my soul. And I have to tell you, when I saw The Tax Collector was a thing that was going to get made, I like David Ayer. He's made some weird ass fucking movies. But when they have to put, hey, do you like End of Watch? And I go, I did like End of Watch. Well, he made this too. And I go, okay, is Brian Ortega in this? Yes, he is. I'm not watching that. I'll watch it when I watch it. So, boof. Actually,
yeah,
love
I kind of like Shia LaBeouf in that movie, but I think I can't remember a movie where I haven't liked Shia LaBeouf besides fucking Transformers, but that doesn't count.
Oh, he's the best part of Transformers, though. He's definitely trying to keep that thing running. In the first one, the second and third ones, I think he was just like, please get me out of this contract. I hate these movies.
But those movies allowed him to do like passion pieces like the Peanut Butter Falcon, which was amazing. Did you watch the Peanut Butter Falcon?
I haven't seen that one, but I saw Honey Boy, and I didn't dislike it. Whenever it's a actor pet piece where they go, I wrote it as well. You go, oh man, this could be dicey. What's it about? My life. Ooh. I don't know that we're gonna like this one, Shia. And we were just fine with it. I think that Shia LaBeouf is somebody who has done what he needed to do to kind of earn himself back into our good graces, and yet still continues to try and earn our good graces back with everything he does. And I go, no, bro, we're past it. Like going full method when they're doing a reading of Fast Times and trying
I love that.
Do a full Matthew McConaughey while Matthew McConaughey is on the call is quite impressive. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, no, part of me wants to leave up the ticker all night, and I might just because I'm pretty sure if people come in late, them seeing that, even without the betting line, should let them know where we stand. And speaking of where we stand, Dan, how are we looking in terms of like as a composite? How are we looking overall?
We're down $4, man. We're down $4, which is, I know, a big investment, but this is the kind of card I think where you make it back, because I think this card, more than any of the most recent ones, I look at the underdogs, I look at the people who have a lot of value, and I could see a lot of them winning. In a lot of cards, I look at the lines and I look at who the favorite is, and I'm like, of course they're gonna fucking win. But this is that card where I'm looking at a lot of these underdogs. I'm like, man, I think a lot of these people have a pretty good chance. And if you can get plus money, then, go for it.
I mean, I like that. And it's also, listen, the kids who are betting along with us and doing these things, Dan, I think they got to learn. There's going to be tough times, but there's also going to be shining lights. And when those shining lights come, you're going to be all the more appreciative. And next week, there's a huge card. So we're going to need people to be really sharp. You have to do your studying beforehand, because guess what, kids? The main card next week starts at 11 a.m. So I'm sorry, Dan. I did not mean to spoil that for you. Even worse, the prelims start at 7 a.m. So I do not believe we will be going live for the prelims next week.
Yeah,
I think we will.
We shoot that a little early.
I think you and I may need to chat later this week. But what I can tell you is I think that next week there are some interesting things that we can look out for. But I would tell you, Dan, I guess the last kind of thing that I had on the fight with Zombie and Ortega is, does you going for Ortega, now that he's donated those things to needy children, his hair, does that mean that you're against those kids who will benefit from it? Like, does that show that you have a vote of confidence against those kids who will benefit because of his missed weight cut opportunities?
I think it would have been better for him to leave the hair. I mean, I think it's kind of like his shtick now. You know what I mean? I think it would have been a win-win if he would have just left the hair, missed weight by less than a pound, given up a little bit of his purse to Korean Zombie, and then made a donation to kids with cancer. I mean, I think they would have liked money more than the hair, but whatever, man. if that's what you got to do to make weight, that's what you got to do. I've admittedly leaned on a table. Let me take a look at my weight there. I can't really see it. Well, you put the thumb on the table, so you give up. You give up a couple extra. You do what you got to do, man. Like if you got to cut your hair, you got to cut your hair. If you got to walk around sucking on sour Jolly Ranchers all day and spitting into a cup, like that's the way things go. So I do not in any part of my mind believe that he meant to cut his hair and donate this hair, but cool that he found a use for it.
Former tournament director Dan Hubler letting us know all of the secrets that, I really do appreciate this about you as a tournament director, which I'm pretty sure if they were cheating and you caught them, you'd probably be like, I kind of respect this. Go play. Fair.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely part of the game, man. People will do whatever they need to do, and if you feel like having that half of a pound extra makes you feel like you have an advantage, then whatever helps you, man.
Well, sometimes you just can't get that extra match, man. Like sometimes when people show up and they're all running around the gym, and then you're just looking at them because you go, man, I feel bad for them, and then they go and they wreck shop. Then you go like, man, fuck that guy. He fucking got an extra time to fucking go ahead and call himself in the bantamweight when he's really not. Anyway, Dan, I'm excited for this card. I appreciate you giving us. Let's just give the people here an opportunity to look right back at this. I would ask you before, I'm going to take off this, but I will put it back on just so that people can see the card, where they need to bet. They do have some time to do it. Where do you suggest that they tend to go bet if you are putting ever a place out?
Well, I don't want to recommend just one spot. I mean, my bookie is pretty good. If you're looking for prop bets, you're going to have to go with Asia now because Five Dimes shut down their U.S. operations. So there's Vietbet. I would look into that. They have a lot of good props where you can get the points, you can get the scorecards, no actions. It's a lot easier to bet in a place like that. But if you're looking to just bet money line, bet on the fighter straight up, not to bet on how they win or with points or whatever, my bookie's good. Bet online, I would stay away from because they got hacked over the week, last week. I kind of just stay away from them for a little while. But I would go my bookie. I would look at some of those lines. FanDuel, if you like putting together a lineup and like playing like lottery tickets, I like FanDuel. My FanDuel is doing pretty good right now, but it's just something I like to do.
Appreciate it. We get a lot of fans who ask us, and my favorite thing is always like, Dan's not technically in charge of that, but it is a good reminder there. And I'm glad that I did because I didn't know that one particular site got hacked this week. So that's why I was like,
yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and they're Vegas based too. I know they have a location in Las Vegas. I like to stick to the offshore ones a little bit more. The ones based in South America where you can just deal with Bitcoin and we don't need to exchange social security numbers or anything. Let's just keep this an easy transaction. Like those are my favorite.
I just appreciate, again, until we get Dan to be an official bookie himself that can guide you to an actual proper place. I guess we'll be making do with these places. Well, Dan, thank you very much. I would ask you before you get on out. I know we have 2 finishes here, so I wanted to ask if you wanted to take one of the 2 to do the toast.
Let's see. Did we have another finish?
We did. So in the time we were talking.
Oh, Gershon got the finish. Yeah, of course.
Gershon did get the finish, and it was, he deserved the finish because there were a lot of unanswered strikes in that round. But Antiquila looked at him and looked at the ref and said, "Why'd you stop that?" Like I was blocking, and the ref's like, "Dude, you didn't fight back at all."
Blocking with his face, yeah. Those are. I think it's some of that is like something you have to do. Like I don't know if it's just buried into the mindset of some of these fighters is they have to feebly protest and say, "Hey, I was still in it," when they know they weren't. Kind of like how like it's a mandatory thing for blue belts after they lose a tournament to say that they learned something about it, because it's not okay to just fucking lose. Like you have to, I learned, I still got something out of it. Like, fuck you, man, you just lost. It's fine. Yeah, I look at it like that.
I'm glad that you do, because I also think that comes from the top down. Whenever everybody loses or has something happen to them and they feel that they have to do the Instagram post. So I'm like, if their coaches see them do it, then shit. Then everybody just cycles in this even more, so that we have a perpetual problem, because that's what happens when the blue belt goes, oh, well, all of the upper belts seem to write something when they lose. I guess I better write 2 paragraphs about it.
Yeah.
All right, Dan. Well, I'll give you the first cheers, and that is from the Nurmagomedov fight.
Yeah, well, I wasn't expecting a finish there. I thought it'd be a bit of a decision. I'm glad that he can finally make a name for the Nurmagomedovs. So congratulations to him and his family.
And I'll do this one. I'll do the second fight. I'll take Senor Max Gershon. Hey, Max, here's some good news. I know that they were contesting the end of that fight. We're not. And am I saying that because I want to take a drink of this beer? Yeah, sure, maybe. But also, kudos to you. So cheers to you, good sir. Boom. I will say, when I do have you on the line and I do hear you say things about the fighters, it does make me have to edit out the parts that if they did catch that, oh, like, we don't need to mention what Dan was talking about maybe about 10 minutes earlier. Anyway, Dan, I appreciate your time. We'll figure out what we're doing for next week, but until then, we are always endlessly appreciative of your betting lines and all of the help that you give to our fans.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Appreciate it. See you. All right. Our thanks to Dan Hubler. By the way, in his honor, we will put up the Korean zombie was not in the tax collector, which is, I think, as good a reason to vote for it against people. It's so stupid. All right. So we've seen 2 finishes already on a card that has 4 more to go in this prelim set. My thanks to you for joining in. My name is Rafa Esparza. You just saw our good friend Dan Hubler, who walked us through some bets, but you're going to see Faris Zim versus Jamie Malarkey. Malarkey, that's a fucking name. I do want to hear how he's going to fucking pronounce that, because I will butcher that. So we're waiting on it. So here it comes. No, that's as advertised. All right, Jamie Malarkey. Yeesh. Look at us. Look at this dude. He looks like a skinnier, non-yoked version of Seth Rollins with a little bit of a bally head. It's like if you put Hal Teague's forehead on Seth Rollins and gave him way less steroids. All right, we'll be going on Instagram in a few minutes as well. But as a reminder, if you guys give us a like and a share, we will give you a toast on air, just like we did for the 2 fighters who were just a second ago given toasts by myself and Dan Hubler. You are watching the Grappling Hour. We are watching all together UFC Fight Island 6. Nice run by Malarkey, who essentially takes a missed opportunity on a kick for Zam and starts to work, pressing him up against the cage. Had a takedown. Now fully gets it, is now in half guard. So Zam is trying to create a little bit of a frame. He probably will have some issues here, but good news from Malarkey. He's got time to work. This is still very early in the fight. Zam also kind of gets a sweep, comes up very quickly. A very nice knee shield from Malarkey that keeps him at bay for a split second here. Zam is now starting to work to advance his position very slowly, pressing him right back on over to the cage. And we have ourselves a fight here. Zam comes on over top, couple elbows, couple strikes, now works on a little bit of front head control into a kind of makeshift guillotine, but he lets it go, comes over with a crack, and they then dispense. So now we are back to the center of the octagon. I did spill a little bit of that beer on myself, I'm not going to lie. So, where is that? Can you see it? Oh, you can't see it. Beautiful. That's the stupidest fucking note, though. Korean Zombie was not in the tax collector. Dan really gave us a good running joke throughout the evening. We had people commenting on that on all of our Instagram posts when we said, who are you rooting for and why? And we had people saying, I just can't root for Ortega because he was in that stupid movie. Full disclosure, have not seen the movie. Will I see it? Probably. I see every movie. But man, what a rough gig. One of my actor friends saw that. He sent me a note and he goes, man, I don't know, dude. I don't know if I can root against some guys in a bad movie. I was like, really? Are you trying to out here to protect Brian Ortega? And he goes, yeah, man. I was like, me and Brian Ortega, we're both actors. And I was like, one of you is an actor. The other is Brian Ortega. Be very clear about that. Nice overhand right by Zam, who gets pushed back up against the cage again. Now, switch position. I mean, Zam has a very nice ability to kind of switch in these bad positions. He works these spots super well. Zero patience being in them. That's kind of what you really hope for a fighter. Sometimes when they get too comfortable in those really tough spots, they're just so fucked. All right. Taking your questions, taking your notes, comments, concerns, hints, allegations, all throughout the evening. Got to send a couple notes, and then we will be up and running. I believe, Jesus, I can't believe it is 2. That's how crazy this is. Seeing fights at 2 when we're almost like about to be halfway done with the prelims is kind of weird. We are kind of spoiled here with our, Zim staggers Malarkey, goes for kind of a high kick that just puts him off balance. It's a very interesting fight between these two gents. It's also interesting to see all the different the different products that are being advertised in the octagon. Of course, you see a lot of promotions for Go Travel in Abu Dhabi. There's also UFC Arabia I thought I saw, which is interesting. Nice single leg by Zam. Ferris looks like he is not going to be able to finish this, but he definitely is making Malarkey struggle up. I take that back. He gets a single leg. He gets him down, but Malarkey is right back up. Starting to 2-on-1 the grip around his waist. If he can maybe hip into it just a smidge, which I think he was trying to do, but Zam was ready for it. Reverses it. Gets him down, tries to hit him with a kick of a little bit of a high knee, does not get it. Now Malarkey has at least one under, if not doubles, kind of reverses again. This is kind of a nice little scramble that's going on between the two of them. In between, Ferris gets in a few nice strikes and an elbow to end the round, and we will go to see a second round in just a second. Fascinating. All right. If you guys give us a like and a share, we will give you a toast on air. Hey, what's up, everybody? Oh, look at that. I'm getting some nice little texts and notes from people here. Appreciate y'all for joining. Let's see over this way. Tomorrow at 8. So beautiful. All right, let's give this also some shares so that we can get some more folks chatting along with us. They may not know we're starting earlier today as well. Oh, Rose Namayunis stopped over with the Danaher Death Squad today. Good for her. That's really cool to see. I love seeing a lot of cross-training happening. They're going through a few of the highlights of the first round. We're going to be seeing the second in just a moment. And I'm going to go ahead and give this a share. Well, bam. Second round starts in 3, 2, 1. There you go, kids. Malarkey starting to press forward, stepping. Ducks underneath Zam, but looks like he gets something on the right-hand side of his face. Goes with a kick to the inside of Zam. Waits him out. Now he's starting to be a little bit more patient with his punches. Zam's movement has been very, very, very impressive thus far into what we've been seeing. You see here right now, the two kind of grip, get on the inside, almost on at least one underhook here. Might be a second shortly coming up. Getting some folks chiming in from all over saying they believe that Ferris has the first round on the Twitter sphere. Do not disagree with that take at all. I'll also keep you posted on any notes I'm getting from the coverage. We always keep our eyes and ears out for everything that's happening on the Twitter sphere from all of the reporters that we seem to enjoy the most here in the UFC. Appreciate you guys for joining us earlier on a Saturday than I'm sure even you expected, if we're being honest. I know a lot of folks did not get the opportunity to get set or ready for a moment like this tonight, but if you weren't prepared for today, got news for you. Next week is about to be worse. We could talk a little bit about the hair of Malarkey here. Malarkey, he does have a little bit of a mullet situation. Well, Malarkey's really pissed that Ferris keeps kind of moving outside of his shot range. Ferris, in response, kind of looked at him and said, like, hey, bro, you could do better yourself. Now the two of them are gripped in a little bit more of an exchange. It plays almost to Malarkey's kind of style. But the good news is Zam has really fended off a takedown here, proving highly adept at the change of levels by Malarkey. Gets us in a couple nice knees here. Zam is an interesting cat to watch, man. I feel like he's got one overhook here as he gets backed into the cage once again. I think every time I've seen him in this bad spot, he takes his time. He doesn't get too out of control here. And then once he reverses the position, watch him get like knees and elbows. Those are two of the most impressive things I've seen about his movement, that he can translate it into strikes every single time when he finds that little dead spot in between or in transition. It's impressive. Kid's got talent. Going to go ahead and tell you guys, if you're just joining us right now, we're going to be here all night. Yes, that's right. We will be here for the entire UFC Fight Island 6 card. Malarkey looking a little bit better here. Gets a little bit of a takedown. I would kind of tell you guys to keep an eye out for some of these. Again, the jumping knees have been very impressive. But Malarkey ducks down, lifts up Zam, does get him down. Now is going to be able to start working here yet again. Hope you guys are enjoying fight night along with us. Checking out all your guys' notes. Oh my God. Yeah, I would agree with that. It says a couple of these things just in terms of the play-by-play from some of our friends over at MMA Fighting. Oof. Yikes. Mostly a lot of tweets and notes that people are excited for the main event this evening. Understandably so. We do have Malarkey on top, seeing if he can slide out a knee to maybe get that full mount position. He's slowly starting to inch his way up, but now gets in kind of an elbow, but it does get blocked by Zam. Ferris is very composed again, still here. Now we're at full guard. And I'm going to be interested to see what kind of movement he's able to go ahead and get out of here. Zam looks like he would try to get some kind of armbar in this position, but I think he's having to stilt it because every time he opens up the legs to try and create a sweep of some sort, he does find a moment where Malarkey just kind of rains down an elbow from inside of that guard. Now, with just 7 seconds left to go, this is going to be Malarkey's round. for sure. As Zam looks maybe just a little winded on this one. If you're asking me, tied 1 apiece. You might not be, but I mean, that's what's happening. I'm on your set right now, so I would imagine there's going to be some to do with what I am thinking, feeling, or interpreting. If you guys are just joining us, feel free to give us a like and a share on Facebook. We'll give you a toast just like we do fighters who get finishes within regulation. We also are just a few moments away from going live on Instagram, but give us a follow at Grappling Hour on all the major platforms. That's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, Periscope, and on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. On any of those, give us a like and a share. And if you could do us a solid, on our Spotify, if you can give us a follow, and on our Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review, it means the world to us here at Grappling Hour. It's really nice when you guys do that. So much appreciate. We now go to the third and final round. Ferris Zam and Jamie Malarkey, I believe at this point, are tied 1-1 apiece in the rounds. Malarkey coming very much alive in this, making it his fight in that second round. First round, though, the striking of Zam and the control, his ability to reverse positions has been something to behold. I will tell you this, though. Hey, what's up? Appreciate that. Joffrey, good to see you, bro. Love it when you guys show up. Say what's up to us. Kind of an inside trip that he keeps trying here. Oh, reverses it. Flattens down, but it creates a little bit of a scramble situation. It's the shot-reshot situation, but this under and overhook from Zam keeps him safe. And when you see Malarkey try to get an elbow in the transitionary time, he misses it. Zam is close on a takedown. Instead, it's not pretty, but at the very least, it is him trying to instigate the movement. And you see Malarkey very much wanting to play that game. This is a very interesting choice at this juncture of the fight. With 3:53 left to go, this is going to give Malarkey some ability to make this fight very, very in the realm of what helped him win that second round. Now, as he's got Zam pressed up against the cage, he can take his time here and really come off with the idea that he is doing a lot of offensive work. Ugh. Doing his best to try and manage putting his weight firmly on top of Zam to keep his movement very limited here. So while there's not a ton of damage per se, Zam is looking up at the clock now to figure out how much time he's going to have left to deal with this dude on top of him. Tries to go for a Kimura grip. This is a good grip. It's just really hard to use it as a sweeping mechanism unless you have the ability to use your legs. Here, they still seem like they're on the outside track of Malarkey's body. And Malarkey now kind of circling on the inside to where the Kimura would be a problem, pops out of it, and if he really wanted to, would maybe have the opportunity to start striking here. But instead, I think it's very much within Malarkey's more comfort zone to stay in this pressure wrestler heavy sort of fight. Now they're both back up on the feet. Zam is able to reverse position, starts pushing on Malarkey up against the cage. Malarkey reverses the position right back on him. Good fight, good fight. Very interesting matchup of styles. You are seeing a little bit more of a stuffed ground game followed up by a stuffed cage utilization by Malarkey here, who's got a single leg. He's trying to run the pipe, and I think that Zam just tried to punch his grip away, which noted. I'll do that too one of these days. Malarkey now into mount. Loses the mount. Now it's going to be stuck inside of half. Interesting. Let's go. Again, appreciate all of you guys tuning in, watching along with us right now. Give us a like and a share. We will give you a toast on air. You know the rules by this point. Takedowns landed are 5 for Malarkey. Zam does not have any that popped up on his side, though I think there was one that they don't even count as control. Now, as we watch, Malarkey is going to win this fight if he just continues to put on this pressure. There's not much damage being done to Ferris, and that is the unfortunate part if he does end up losing as a result of this. Malarkey goes straight back to mount. Now Zam really does an excellent job of getting out of the bad position. With just 40 seconds here, Zam really is going to need a finish. He is trying to control Malarkey, and Malarkey is just making consistent movement. Now he's got the back here. This is going to be really interesting. I don't know if this is going to be considered enough time, so he's just got to put in the work. These punches need to have, oh my God, the slip out by Malarkey is just beautiful. Literally backs out of the situation. Now Zam is starting to put some punches into the face, trying to pepper it up. He wants to get a better impression to leave this fight on, but Malarkey keeping the movement just enough to make it interesting, although he looks exhausted and hurt for the cause. He puts his hands up, and that very well could be the case here, kids. I don't know if we have enough to call that like an amazing fight, but it was certainly interesting for what it was. So kudos to everybody involved. Let's give this a share right now if you're watching. Love you guys. Have so much appreciation for all of you tuning in and watching with us early on this Saturday afternoon. My name, of course, Raph Sparza, your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster. We have so many fights left. This is only the fourth fight of the night. Just kidding. Third fight of the night. The fourth is coming up next. It's pretty funny. I like that at this point I'm like, this is the 19th second fight. Okay, good to know. Eek. Looks like a Halo commercial. All right. I'm going to put a little post for Dan. And then we will continue on, but we're about to get the official decision right now. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. All right. Official results. Let's give you the update right here, right now. Judges' scorecard. 29-28. Whoa! Farazam must have made an impression in the last few seconds. I think it was the lack of action from Jamie Malarkey in the very dominant positions. Zam is now talking and saying that he's very happy. Ferris is saying how much he loves Daniel Cormier. Looks like they're pushing away the official translator. Man, okay. We got a comment here. Says, so who does Dan like this week? Well, you just missed Dan, but I can definitely put up who he has here on the Risk It All. This is so intense to see, dude. I don't know that I love or hate this decision, honestly. Daniel Cormier is asking, was he confident that he was going to get his hand raised? Well, he said, hey, all props to Jaime, which French, of course. But he did say, I mean, I'm just better. So if you look at the significant strikes, it's 42-35. Takedowns, obviously, in Malarkey's favor. And ground control time was also in Jamie's favor. I guess the idea is when we talk significant strikes, where were they? They don't tend to bleed from one round to another. I think it was the significant strikes that he was making in those last moments. It's kind of why we were caveating him to do more in those positions. Yeah, I'm seeing some comments saying that was not good. Bilal, that was a horrible decision. Malarkey clearly won that. Be Real 8484. I understand where you're coming from. I do. I think the concept, though, is that he had the dominant positions. He didn't do much with it. I think in the last minute, and this is where I would have some issue with, is the last minute, I think those judges must have seen more strikes coming out of Zim. That's a batshit crazy thing because you kind of figure which is more important, having control for 4 minutes, but not utilizing it the most, or is it going to be the fact that maybe you get in a few strikes toward the end of a round that look rougher than they might have been? I don't know. That's a fight that I feel a little weird about altogether. So Be Real. I don't know what to tell you, man. I would like to agree with you more, but I agree with you a lot with your icon. That's a great icon that you got for your screen name. So I think that we can agree on. But I don't think anybody was going to feel good on that one, honestly. Man, Korean Zombie. What a crazy, crazy thing to see this guy's ups and downs, watching his fights for years. And the weird buildup that it was for this fight between him and Brian Ortega. No, he's fighting later tonight. He's the main event with Brian Ortega, who, by the way, I hate to break it to you, shaved his hair off. So does not look as handsome as he normally. The choices, indeed. I don't think my wife understands how severe she'll see it be until it happens later tonight. But it's really sad when a man who's considered good looking as a fighter starts getting memes made about him looking like Uncle Fester. So it's a little unfortunate there, kids. But my thanks to all of you who are watching in right now. Of course, if you get like and a share, we will give you a toast on air, just like we do for all the fighters who, do hard work in the octagon. We like to give them their due props. All right, this is a good time to remind myself, now that I'm thinking about it, I can start getting this ready because we will go on Instagram for this next series of fights so that we can keep everybody in the know. I also want to charge this up while we've got just a few seconds of downtime until our next fight, though. I'm more than happy to take your questions, your comments, your concerns, your hints, your allegations, all of that stuff, as we have 3 more fights on the prelims. Then we will go to a main card that, as we just mentioned a few minutes ago, is going to be headlined by Brian Ortega and the Korean Zombie. It is also supported tonight by Caitlin Shook again and Jessica Andrade, and those are really the big ones. James Krause is fighting a little bit later, and there were some notes by Dan Hubler who said, hey, listen, I would put the money on Claudio Silva. That's on you. I'm not telling you what to do with your money. I'm just saying other people are saying that could make you some. And Dan makes a good amount. So that's what I got for y'all doing this week. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Says, did Dan like Park Jun Young or Young? I don't think he was disliking him. He just didn't seem to make a huge compelling argument for or against him this week. So as a note for y'all, I would say, nah, no need to put money on that one, which I guess is a good way to go ahead and tell us who is coming up next. And that is one Junyoung Park versus John Phillips. So let's put that on a banner so you guys know exactly what is coming up. After, I guess, they do some notes for Like a Zombie. These are so dumb. Of course, if you know Dan himself, his alias on Instagram is Korean Zombie. And, it is kind of funny that tonight he seemed to favor the fighter who is aptly nicknamed Korean Zombie. And the fact that Dan's still, I think he's going to get money off of that at some point. I think that the fighter, the Korean Zombie, will at some point offer him money because it's just too weird to have the UFC, which never refers to him by his full name. They go, oh, it's the Korean Zombie fighting tonight, and not have that signature name there. Anyway, kids, this is what we continue to go on with. So we will be going live. I just got to put a lapel mic on, and then we're going to put it on the Instagrams. We're going to have some more friends chiming in throughout the day. And the next week, we're going to have a panel show. So next week, we're going to invite some friends to watch along with us to, make it a little interesting. We always like to do things a little different each and every time that we do one of these shows. But yes, next week, we will be putting on. Actually, now that I think about it, I can actually put this one underneath. We always like to bring on a different show every time we have a big event. And next week's UFC 254 should be one of the biggest cards that we have seen in I guess in a month's time, honestly, even though they've been throwing card after card after card at us. I guess the question I have for Dana is, what the fuck is our 21 schedule going to look like? I cannot imagine they're going to be able to keep this up for every weekend. I know they're making up for lost weekends. That makes sense to me. But Jesus Christ, every single goddamn weekend seems a lot. Okay, Jin Young Park looks good. He is, of course, fighting John Phillips, who they're going to preview now. John looks ready to fight, though. If I'm just basing this off of this, 100% finish rate? Ugh. That's yikes. But 22-10. Not the world's best record. But okay. I both see and hear you. Let's give this a share as well, just so that we get other people tuning in and saying hello. Oh, God. A Georgia state representative crowd surfs over maskless Trump supporters at president's rally. I swear to God, these look like Onion headlines. Like when I go and I read that, I go, yep, these are the dumbest people. All right, well, more power to him. See you on the other side, pal. Says Nurmagomedov is open to serving as a possible replacement for an opponent at UFC 254 following the impressive finish that he had this week. Well, I mean, that was really good for him. All right, kids. We continue on. Park and Phillips coming up in just a short amount of time. In the meantime, my thanks to you all for continuing to watch along. We're having a good time. I think we're enjoying the fights thus far in. And feel free to throw any questions you have for me. I love fielding them as best that I can. We use our expertise here at Verbal Tap in the Grappling Hour to fill in the gaps, especially when we have to fill time for whatever reason the UFC has to take a few moments off, take a little siesta, while the rest of us do the hard work. All right. What other notes do I have? We're about to go. We do a share, and then we will go on the Instagram. Giving some likes back to some of you who have been commenting at us. I'm going to put this in the comment section. You guys tell me who you got for this next fight, and we will continue on with our good work. Wabam. Oh, be real. Or John Phillips, question mark. That is going out. That's my question for y'all. Feel free to let me know in the comment section who you do have for this next fight. Do you have Park or Phillips? I don't know why my Instagram is being so weird. But we will give this a share, I guess, over on my Facebook, and then we're going to go live. Awesome. Let's see. Boom. Thank you. That's very nice of you to say. And Grappling Hour. Today's drink of choice is from our good friends over at Hula Moon and is the Tropical IPA. Actually, I should probably just do this on Instagram as well. That way we go ahead and do a little bit of branding as well. Let's do this. Hey, today's drink of choice over here on the Fight Companion for UFC Fight Island 6 is none other than Hula Moon. It's not bad. Tropical IPA. It's delicious. I'm enjoying it. I hope you guys are enjoying our coverage. We'll see you here all night. Peace. Let's tag Hula Moon. And that is Tropical IPA. This is Trademark Brewing. That's who's. All right, on this fight, I think I'm going to go with 100% finishing rate. I am inclined to go for Phillips. I like that, but I think it might also be seeing Joffrey say that he's going for Jun Young. Trademark Brewing. Thank you. Preach. Giving that a share right now. All right. Now we're about to get ready for the next big thing. Jesus Christ. That's really funny. All right. And as we prepare to go live on the Instagram, I want to say thank you to everybody who's tuning in on all of our different platforms. We're talking Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube, as well as Periscope. Let's get set. Let's get ready. Title: UFC Fight Island 6 Prelims. Bam. All right, kids, here we go. In 3, 2, 1, are we live? I don't even know if this thing is checking connection. Okay, great. You are now live. Thanks, everybody. Hey, what's up? It's your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Rafa Esparza. We are coming to you with a Fight Companion over on Instagram, but we're also telecasting on all of our platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and Periscope, or Twitter, I guess is what you want to refer to it as. My thanks for you for tuning in today. We are just about to get started with coverage for Jun Young Park and John Phillips. So that is the fight that we have in front of us going on right now. I will take your questions, comments, concerns, hints, and allegations all throughout the evening. We'll be giving you play-by-play as this evening progresses. And, of course, I will always take your questions. Look at this. Shaka Lewis. Sarah Drott, what's up? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. We continue our coverage. I'm taking your questions. I'm doing all the things. You know how this goes. We're just seconds away from seeing these two gentlemen battle it out in the octagon, but Jesus Christ. We have a few fans who say that they're going for Jun Young Park. And on this one, I guess I'm kind of rooting for, John Phillips. Kevin Phillips, my good friend from Verbal Tap. He just got married, so we'll keep it in the Phillips family. What's up, TJ? Look at you, TJ, ducking me at every opportunity to try and train. This guy. I tell you, he's scared. He's not giving me super fights yet, you know? I tell this guy, I want to train with you, and he does everything but train with me. T-City here tonight. I like that one. Well, we were asking about this current fight, but I will take your T-City love and appreciation here, folks. The fight begins. I have 4:48 on my clock. Hopefully you guys have a very similar thing. What's up, Bruno? A little tepid start to this fight. You will have Phillips in the white trunks and Park in the more burgundy-ish, let's call them reddish trunks going on. This is at the Flash Forum. I always want to call it the Flash Flood Forum, but that's not acceptable. I don't think so. And, nobody's really fought with any punches yet. So both of them just kind of showing a little bit of their shadow boxing to one another is how we're starting this fight thus far. And we get a takedown by one Park. who read that one beautifully. If Park knows that Phillips has 100% finishes, I think this takedown is with good reason. Blast double indeed. Look at that. Dude, I wish I could have a blast double like that. I wish they would all look like that. I was doing some wrestling earlier this morning. Does not look like that. We'll tell you it. They usually look way more a little sloppy. There's usually a lot of praying. And then it's usually followed by me being really angry that I'm old and that it doesn't look that well. I'll counter wrestle the fuck out of people, but Jesus Christ, that double blast does not happen for me. And if it does, it's a really green white belt who just walked in on the first day. And I'm like, yeah, no, dude, we'll go easy on you. I just blast double the fuck out of you. Take that. Look at G, baby. Good to see you, bro. Hope everything is going well with you, my friend. 3 minutes left in this first round, and you do see Park being very, very heavy on this position. He is making sure that Phillips is to carry all of his weight. Jesus, this is not looking well for me, who wanted to keep it within the Phillips family. He's not quite flattening him out, but this cage position might be very advantageous to Park, who now has more than 2 minutes with 2 hooks in to just kind of loosen up the neck of one John Phillips, who seems, oh man, yeah, he does not look comfortable in this position right now. What is up, Nerys? So much time. Yeah, fucking shit, man. You ever do any kind of grappling where somebody has your back and they have the 2 hooks in and you look up at the clock and it says that there's 4 minutes remaining and you know this is going to be the worst 4 minutes? That's without strikes. This is where strikes can help flatten a person out like Park is doing right now. Phillips gets right back up, but Park can really, really take the back here with total control. Instead, he's peppering in a few shots, and Phillips doesn't look like he's getting busted that bad. Even though he's not responding, the ref looked like he kind of wanted to waltz over. A little exchange of position, nothing too different here, although you see Park doesn't have both hooks in anymore. He's just kind of attacking the back with a seatbelt grip. So now if he just wants to weigh on him, that's cool. It's just going to be an ungreat position to watch somebody continue to put you in for hours upon hours. Turtle game on point. Absolutely. Bro, I wish my turtle game was this good. Actually, sometimes, depending on the day, it's not that bad. So I won't talk too much shit about my own game here. He is the back now. 2 hooks are in. Phillips, here's what I want to say. I don't love his ability to work to get out of this, but he's not in the most danger yet. He's consistently kept himself at least in the fight. It's just, I would like to see maybe a smidge more movement here. Being in that position only keeps you in that position if you don't try to move. And looking at the way that Park keeps bringing that forearm right around the bridge of his nose tells me, yeah, dude, he seems pretty comfortable just trying to make it fucking difficult for you. At the very least, you're going to lose this round. What's up, Shango? Good to see you both here. It looks like the ref was saying, y'all need to do something. And I kind of agree with him. I would love to see Park continue to go on with a little bit of getting that little bridge underneath. He keeps giving him the arm so that he can 2-on-1 it just because he overcommits it a little bit here. I wonder if this will come back to hit Park. But if you see that Park was able to get that good first round blast double, Sakulish says, good job of getting out of this round for Phillips. Abso-fucking-lutely, man. He has endured a very not great first round, but I don't know that he took too much damage either. What's up, Keith Kikorian? The young Keith Kikorian, good to see you. Happy belated birthday to young Savage, one Keith Kikorian, and new black belt. Keith, one of the friendliest people who will break you down and then be like, oh, well, yeah, I'm so glad we're friends. Yay. Oh, okay. That was fun. It was fun for one of us, Keith. Not fun for the other of us. Although you're very nice, so I don't hate you. But good things are coming. I appreciate everybody chiming in. I will take your questions, comments, concerns, hints, allegations. If you aren't following us on any of these platforms, what's wrong with you? If you give us a like and a subscription on our YouTube page, I will give you a toast, just like we do with all the fighters who get finishes within regulation. And if you give us a like and a share on Facebook, we give you a toast, just like we do. You heard the deal. Same thing. Keith Krikorian says, I'm not actually watching the fights yet. Well, what's wrong with you? You're not a real fan then. Did you just get done training? Would you go on a walk? Did you just finish a coloring book? I'm really not sure what you were up to, Keith. Anyway, we're in the second round of the Park and Phillips fight. Now we'll see what happens when Phillips is back to standing. And man, that was a nice uppercut attempt, except 409 on the ground. What the fuck? Well, that's impressive, man. We're right back at the action. Park does not want to stand up with him for too long and gets the takedown again. And now Phillips, at the very least, knows that this could spell bad news for him. He is 3 for 3 on his takedowns. What is up, MMA Gear PK? And then I'll start watching. Oh, look at you, Gamrot. You're waiting for Gamrot? You're waiting for a particular fighter? You're not even going to show up for the real thing? Come on, man. You got to be in on this shit. I don't like fighter fans who just show up at the last minute. You gotta watch all these things. But you know, if you're gonna watch me out, I guess I'll forgive you. I'm not gonna yell at our audience too much. And it says, also, I already subscribed to everything. Do I get toasted? No, but if you give us a like and a share on Facebook, I will give you a toast. I give you guys plenty of ways to fucking get cheers done here. Jesus Christ, kid. Keith coming out here being like, oh, well, what if I one time let you pass my guard? Well, actually, if you did do that, I might give you a toast now that I think about it. What the hell? Well, listen, dude, we give you lots of shit. We say plenty of nice things about Keith Krikorian. I know you know, because I know you listen to our show. You dummy. Park is not doing a bad job of peppering him up here. I just hate that he hesitates just ever so slightly on taking that neck. I think he's had the neck and given it back to him at least 3 times. So Park being very meticulous. And it says, I'm getting Dairy Queen before I sit down and watch. Of course you are. Man, I remember when I could eat Dairy Queen. Yeah, those were good times, Keith. Enjoy them while you can, kid. It's not fun, man. Snickerdoodle cookie dough blizzard, to be exact. Yeah, that sounds like diabetes with like extra diabetes to somebody like me now. Cooking his own arms. Yeah, I think so, man. I think you're right, Sackless. Says Keith Krikorian's letting us know he's getting extra sugar. Keith, that's the worst, bro. My stomach is turning just hearing it. Okay, so maybe we've deduced that Park does not have the best jiu-jitsu for competitive reasons. At least his takedowns are good. Rainbow sprinkles added. Okay, maybe not rainbow sprinkles. I still think you would get it. I think you're kind of lying on that one, Keith. I think you would get sprinkles and not tell us. So what Park maybe lacks in submission skills, he more than makes up with control, which is step 1 to getting a submission. I think Park is one of the few people in a class where when a coach would normally say position before submission, they probably go to him and they're like, yo, bro, submission just anytime. Don't even wait for position. Just fucking have one. What's up, Gene Cats? Although they are your favorite. Yeah, dude, I mean, listen, dude, if you don't like sprinkles, then what the fuck's wrong with you? That's the issue. People should enjoy sprinkles. Anytime I get a donut, sprinkles on a donut, fuck yeah. Sprinkles on some ice cream, hell yeah. I'll do that too. Am I eating a ton of ice cream now? No, because I'm old as shit. What is up, Arnold? Look at you, man. How you doing, man? You get here. Arnold's here, everybody. I appreciate you, bro. We're just sitting here watching a casual, it's not even really murder, just kind of a casual control mauling of one John Phillips. The ref is kind of asking him like, yo, do I need to stop this? Because you've just been taking these weird rabbit punches all around. Park, I want to see you get the submission so bad. Come on, bro. Now Phillips is at a 2-on-1 position, brings it across his head, so he's in a pretty decent spot with it. Appreciate you, Arnold. Love the wave to us. Did Phillips just fucking elbow his thigh? That's weird. What is up, Mauricio Alonso, BJJ? Welcome to the show. My name is Rafa Esparza. I normally host either Verbal Tap or the Grappling Hour. All kind of the same family. Just know I'm the guy who does this. Appreciate you showing up. We make it to the end of a second round. Phillips by left hook, third round. Just saying, twister. Oh, see, that's how I know TJ's game all too well. Bro, hitting the twister is easier said than done. So, I don't know. Let's put it this way, TJ. Do you think I would hit you with the twister and finish it? It's risky, dude. Especially if I let you fucking punch me. I don't know that I'm going to do that. That's a little high risk, high reward sort of situation. Yeah, if strikes were involved and if I was training with TJ, I might lose the twister and then I might start getting punches to my face. I'm not into that, dude. I've seen your switch kick. I don't need that in my life. Sackless, I'm just a Peruvian necktie. Okay. I like that you're just putting out every scenario that you wish will happen. We're only going to accept one of your answers, and I'm accepting the first one. We go by most game show and Jeopardy rules. So I will not accept your Peruvian necktie, though that would actually be a really good option. I guess now that I think about that. My Peruvian necktie is not great. You know whose Peruvian necktie is pretty good? Keith Krikorian's. Just saying, got to keep it fun. Absolutely, man. I mean, listen, dude, you know as well as I do, when the fight's not that great, it's up to us here to make it interesting. And sometimes it's just not. Sometimes we can't lie and just be like, this is a great fight. Because we're not. Left hook it is then. Yo, bro. Oh, he's going to finish this third takedown. Oh, that's just the demoralizing. Live in-play wagering after round 2. John Phillips plus 1340. Young Park at negative 2960. I mean, sure. There's still a lot you could lose within that. I would love to talk to Dan Hubler about that. Left hook it is. Womp womp. I think there is nothing more demoralizing than hearing somebody say womp womp. I have said that to some people I traded with when they thought that something bad was going to happen to me. And then it doesn't. They just go womp womp. And then you just see their whole body language just deplete. And then like my power grows because I'm like an evil villain in most rolling situations. So it works for me. I'm not saying it's going to work for everybody. Well, Park is in half. If I'm going to guess, he's probably going to pass here. Phillips is not going to look super good just being on the ground. Phillips has to get up, dude. This is not the time to test out your Z guard, your X guard, any of these things. We need to get the fuck back up. Ground strikes, 235 Park. That's absurd. Phillips 0. No! Hold on. I have to screenshot that one because that's that's pretty entertaining. My constant soundtrack in my head. Womp womp. Yeah, I know. It's great. Dude, 235 0 is the saddest. Like, bro, there's been opportunities where I've had people in really good positions when I roll with them. I still might have thrown more strikes in just grappling situations than 0. Sometimes when people do that, like, that dick move where they, like, put their knuckles to try and get a Nogi Ezekiel on you, sometimes my remedy is just to fucking punch them back. They're always surprised because they're in a more dominant position, but I will fucking throat punch you right back if you try to do that to me. Thomas says, hey, man, I'm looking for a link to watch UFC. Where should I go? Well, not here, man, but I support you in going to find one. You can try to fuck us around with it on, like, I'm sure on Periscope you probably could find something. Dude, it's always dicey, man. You can even maybe try for Facebook, but you kind of have to piece them together fight by fight. So unfortunately, I don't have them. And don't let Brandon Schaub hear you because then he's going to turn you in. So I'm not a snitch. I'm just saying I'm not doing it. So peace be with you. But if you want to stay here and listen to me narrate what's happening in exciting matches like this, you're more than welcome to stick around. We'll give you the play-by-play. Promise. Also, we might toast you. So anyway, Thomas, very, very appreciate the question. And, hey, hopefully you're liking this. Oh my God, this is never going to end. Please get the submission. Yes, around the neck. Don't let him 2-on-1 the hands. No, come on. Okay, when he looks up at the clock, that's the time to fucking bring the arm underneath and take him home. TJ, here is a good opportunity to hit that twister. Here is a good opportunity to hit a fucking banana split. Here's an opportunity to do a whole back truck system. Hey, I saw a strike here. TJ, that's one. That's one elbow. Look at that. It says, oh, look. Phillips is still getting rabbit punched to being cut. Ugh. I know. I mean, at some point, some shit, I guess, has to happen. What are you going to do? I think by the 300th strike, you might start bleeding, whether they're heavy or not. And I say this as a person with a very hard head. So, I got that. You're a cool guy. Thanks. No, I appreciate you, bro. Like I said, I support you in your endeavors. I want people to watch fights. Prefer if it was legal, but, stick around. Hopefully you'll like us if you do. Appreciate you back. So, just while we have time, because this is clearly a one-sided affair, do we consider this on our emojis as prayer hands, or do we consider it as a high five that comes together? I would like to hear your thoughts on this. What's up, Stuart Cooper Films? Look at you. Taking time out of having a fucking 9-pack to come schlub it with us over here. Oh, Park is so happy. I can't dislike this. I just really was rooting for him to get a fucking finish so I could have toasted him. This is his second straight win that he has had in the UFC. So I guess we're going to find out how lopsided the scores are is the question mark that people are putting out there. It's entirely possible you'll see a 30-25. I don't know. I can't pretend to tell you. Oof, the way he read that fucking, yeah, that's a good little marker there to talk about that back foot and that he cuts the angle. Once he cuts the angle, and brings him down super easy. Yep. Well, let us see what the lopsided scorecards have to say. 29-28 Phillips because Abu Dhabi. Yeah. That's not that's not out of the realm of possibility. That's pretty funny. Appreciate that, sir. All right, we're considering seeing how this is all gonna go. Just a few more seconds here before they tell us. They're just trying to tell us a few more things. Look at that. 286 total strikes, 286 ground strikes, 4 takedowns, and 13 and 11 minutes of ground control time. Jesus Christ. Here we go. 30-25. What I tell you guys? Well, bam. Ta-da. How you like me now? I have these moments where I can kind of see how judges come up with something. Oh, that was a very weird bro hug, by the way. Fight to win is also tonight. Nobody cares. Oh, look at that. Daniel Cormier is saying he only hit you once or twice and you've got that cut. He's talking about the elbow. Yeah, I agree. Thor versus Ribamar. Yeah, that's cool. I'll just read about it. I'm not going to watch that. DC talking about wrestling. Who knew that would happen? Oh, he's saying that for the first time in his life, he has cauliflower ear. What an adorable story. Essentially didn't even answer TC's question, by the way. Joffrey, you did say that Park John Young would win. You absolutely did. I had higher hopes for guarding the Phillips name out there. It says that the 6-time world champions of Glory prepare his move to the UFC. That's cool. Dude, Glory is the shit. if there's one thing I miss right now, it is watching Glory fighting as a regular occurrence on my TV. During the pandemic, I thought we got word that they were potentially in some money trouble, like they were going bankrupt or something. I think we've come to find out that they're still doing somewhat okay. It's just, I love the shit out of Glory. I've actually gotten to cover Glory fights. And I say this as somebody who's covered UFC fights, EBI, combat jiu-jitsu, everything under the sun. I really think that Glory Kickboxing, it treats the press, I think, the best. It is honestly one of the coolest events to go to, and every time they would circle out to LA, I would drop everything to go. I took my sister, who does photography, to one of their events, and she looked at me and said, I understand why you come just for the kickboxing. It's amazing. So I got a note here that says, Jillian, let's go. I like that. Good on you. All right. Continue talking to me, friends. Tell me what's going on in your thoughts right now, because Jillian Robertson is coming up next, and she'll be taking on Poliana Bordello, which I'm just saying like that because I feel like it. But Jillian Robertson is just a beast, so very interesting to see how that fight will shake out. Let us put that up. Who do you have? Do you have Jillian? Well, I know where Shackles is going, so I'm not going to go ahead and tell you to chime in. Or get Jillian or Pollyanna. Go. Hit us up in the comment section. Tell me who you think is happening. I love when Periscope sends me a note back. It says, Periscope thinks that it might be spam. Well, fuck off. What is up? Juan Lomas PR. It's solid effort on the name pronunciation. Shackles, you must be new to this. I make it a sport to mispronounce people's names, because if I'm not going to do it right, I'm going to do it real wrong. So it's kind of, I don't want to say it's like a signature thing that I do, but it's definitely close to being a trademark on the show. If you ever listen to us doing, there's a segment that says, both two different parlays. That's funny. Whenever we get people who listen to our show, Verbal Tap, and we do a betting segment, I am known to really take some stabs at some names for comedic effect. And it usually takes the guest about a good 10 minutes to kind of figure it out. So they'll be like, you really said their name different. And it's like, no shit. If I were on a main show, yeah, I am. If you're going to fuck it up, might as well go to fuck it up so no one can fix it. It says, it's all good. It's me, Eno Hotero. Hope you're doing good. I am doing good. Look at you. What is that? Looking right there. And hell, look at you. I can't even tell what that fucking is. Looks like two fist bumps on a fucking flag right there. But see, we've been doing all the Kurt Angle jokes with you, and there you go. You look like you have a fucking singlet as your screen login right there. So I guess we've been right on doing all those cheers for you, man. How have you guys been doing during the pandemic? Are you guys back to training? If so, what are you working on? Tell me in the comment section. I'd love to hear it. I'll let you know this morning. Did a little bit of striking. Enjoyed that. It is very fun to be a very white belt at striking in a new setting, and asking questions like, why would I throw this? Oh, do people do that? It's a hidden secret. Oh, gotcha. I got enough time to get in a little bit of training, a little jiu-jitsu as well. Nothing too crazy, but trying to get in my training. I'm back at work over at NBC right now. And that usually means my training goes out the window. So trying to get in where I can here, kids. It's not easy. It is not easy. And I notice that some things that I work on when I'm working on a show, they evaporate real quick. Word. I'm already scheduled my training for tomorrow. Well, bam. Where am I doing striking? So I got a buddy of mine who used to fight. I don't know if you know him. His name's Rich Leroy. And dude's bad, man. He's really fucking good. So I go on out to my buddy Rich. We kind of go all over the place, but he's usually based out in Simi Valley. I get that. And man, it's really good for me, dude. It's so crazy because I appreciate learning it. I think it's very helpful. I think it broadens your perspective. I used to do some striking like straight out of college, but it's kind of the same thing with weights where I would look at it and I go, I don't think you know what you're doing, to like the instructors. And nothing would bug me more. Like I just hated weights because I didn't have the right people to help me out and put me in the right direction. So, fortunately, I've had very kind people like Milt or like Rich who have gone out of their way to give me their time. And I very much appreciate that. So, but yeah, I really also try to support the fighters. Just, you can learn from just about anybody, and you don't have to fight to be a great coach. But it just so happens that Rich is really, really good at working toward me because I am also not a great student. I know that. It says, when COVID ends, if you ever come to Puerto Rico, you're always welcome. I appreciate that, man. I'd love to mix it up if I ever went to Puerto Rico. I'm usually just Cali-based. I usually just do stuff around the area, but you never know. If I do find my way out there, I just don't tend to leave unless someone pays me to go commentate or do business elsewhere. So I won't throw it outright, but if you come to LA, that's way more likely you'll see me. And I'd be happy to train with you too, bud. And hell, I'd be super glad to put you in a Kurt Angle ankle lock or give you an angle slam or do all of the fun nonsense that I tend to do with all of our pro wrestling fans. Because, yeah, I mean, we do really dumb shit. Joffrey is saying this one, and I don't know that I love this as a phraseology, but you said maybe Jillian Robertson? You're either for or against her, bro. Come on. No, I'm just kidding. All right, I hear that. I want to hear you guys tell me who you got on this. Talk to me in the comment section. Look at this. Appreciating everybody who's been commenting in so far. We've gotten some excellent notes from a whole bunch of y'all. Checking this on out. Pollyanna. Ooh, no! Sorry about that, guys. My apologies. I don't know why it kicked me off. Hopefully it doesn't keep doing that, but we'll keep an eye on it for it. This is your good friend, Rafa Sparza. We're doing some coverage of UFC Fight Island 6. We will be watching. Hopefully you will be watching along live with us. Throw your questions, your comments, your concerns, your hints, allegations. Thank you for coming back. Shackles, appreciate you. We have a very loaded evening, so we are inching our way closer to the end of the prelim cards. We got this and the Mateus Germont and Guram Quetzalaz. I'm not even going to pretend to say that one right. Those are the last two that we got left for the prelims. So don't go anywhere. Why do it? We're all having a blast here. What's up, Joe? Joe being a beast with all of his workouts. I see you, bro. I see you out there. I see you getting your hustle in. We're just in time. What's up, Shango? Good to see you back. Appreciate you coming on back. A race to the throat. That's so weird. So we had one person who just said Pollyanna. I thought that was that you, Shacklist, that put that up there? No, I thought that was Shango. Shango, you might have put up Pollyanna. My apologies if I get that one wrong. All right. Let's see how this one plays out. Pollyanna looking very focused. She also kind of looks smoking, man. Good for her. Yeah, I thought so, Shango. I got you, bro. By the way, drinking, enjoying myself. Hopefully you're doing the same. Go, 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 go. Jillian Robertson, though. Like we mentioned, been competing on a tear. Jiu-jitsu, MMA, you name it. She's down for it. That is what is up here, friends, families. Everybody tuning in. Pulling this up so you guys get a better look at me on the Facebook and the YouTube as we continue to hold it down. Hope you're having a wonderful Saturday evening. I know I am. We keeping this shit up. Let's do it, fam. All right, time begins right now. Very stoked to have you. Ooh, Juliana goes for a takedown. Pollyanna's doing a pretty good job of blocking it out, by the way. What's up, Lil Rich? Appreciate you joining in right now. We are watching UFC Fight Island 6. We're in between Robertson and Botello. Pollyanna is fending off this takedown attempt by Robertson. She stuffs it, isn't quite completely done with it. Hopefully she's going to be able to turn something from it. Nope, Jillian gets right back up. Now has one underhook and an overhook. They switch positions, get on over to the cage. As you see Pollyanna putting in the pressure on Robertson. I should probably change the names on the banner, by the way. I'll take care of that for the people watching on the other channels. So let us put this down. As you see, Pollyanna putting in some forward pressure over on Robertson. What is up, Garage Auto Stuffa? Appreciate you joining us right now, watching UFC Fight Island 6. Here we go. Well, bam. Jillian Robertson kind of stuck up against this cage right now, trying to leverage herself out a little bit. You can see here that Pollyanna, if she wants to make this run back into a single leg, she does have the opportunity, but I think she feels very comfortable being very aggressive with the knees. She does lose a little bit of control on the clinch, gets a nice knee to the chin of Robertson, who starts to back up ever so slightly, who now has her stance back and looks like she is ready to mix it back on up. Excellent work by both fighters thus far in. We have ourselves a fun little fight here, kids. 3 minutes left to go in this first round. You have Pollyanna in the, of course, the yellow trunks, Robertson in the reddish trunks. Of course, next week, we want to remind you guys, Gagey is going to fight Khabib. That is going to be at 11 a.m., the main card, 11 a.m. Cannot say that enough. Want to make sure everybody's going to be awake. As it is, this fight today is earlier than we're used to. It's about 2 hours earlier. Of course, they're going to have the ESPN fights a little bit later. I will be tuning in for those. I do not know that we'll be doing a live Let's Watch of that. But that is something that is happening today that I think some people here might be of interest. Julian on a better single leg here. Balheo is doing a very good job, though, of addressing it. She has not been taken down thus far in. Juliana still has it. Keep me updated at work and can't be focused on the fight. I got you, bro. That is what we are here for. We're here to take care of our fans and friends who are probably supposed to be doing other things and don't have the ability, or are watching and just want some friends to watch along with. We do it all here, guys. That's our job. Eek. Speaking of which, Ferris ZM calls out Bobby Green after his UFC Fight Island 6 victory and says, like Hazmat says, I smash you. Can we get rid of people saying smash you? Like, that's not even interesting anymore. As it was, we barely made it a thing because Khabib was so disinteresting otherwise that it's kind of like, shit, now we need something else. All right, back to the fights. Nothing too crazy here. Little jab exchange between the two participants here. There's 1 minute left in this first round. Nice kick by Boheo, who makes a nice connection to the midsection. Julian reads it, is closer on a takedown, and has to almost sacrifice part of herself onto it. Paulina is doing an excellent job. Robertson does get a little bit of a pinning predicament. Does look like she wants to try to go into mount. Now is going to maybe start attacking the arm. Nope. Paulina retrieves it back. It says English good is. Absolutely. It is always funny when these guys are like, I don't know many words, but I do know smash. So any conflict, I will say I smash you 9 more times. Smash. Okay. One day you will be interesting or have a personality. Eek. And the last two, boom. We're done with that one right now. First round in the books. Second round coming up after some cat commercials. Okay. You love your dogs? You love your cats? Buy them our food. That's the commercial I get. Everybody gets different commercials. So I feel it's important that we keep people abreast as to which different commercials we are all getting here. Eek. All right, I'm going to take a second to sip this beer, but I'm also going to remind you guys, if you aren't following us, and I don't know why you wouldn't, follow us at Grappling Hour on all major platforms: YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Apple Podcasts. Give us a 5-star review, and Spotify. That's it. You got a Chick-fil-A? Oh, look at you. I got Arby's right now. We have the meats. Is what we have there. It's not super anything out of the realm. Yo, I get that fucking Home Depot song from their commercials stuck in my head so many times because I refuse to pay Spotify money for the premium version. So every time they I'm listening to Run the Jewels, and all of a sudden it'll be like, hey, have you thought about going to the Home Depot? No! I was in the process of enjoying this, you dick. Leave me alone. They'll be like, just pay some money. No. Round dose. Here we go. On the clock right now, there is 4 minutes and 42 seconds. What is up, Seth? Thank you so much for joining in. We're watching some fights right now. Ooh, turns out that Julian Robertson did not need to get a takedown when you just pick up one leg and punch to the middle of the stomach. What's up, Pete? Thank you for joining us. Appreciate that. It says Arby's reminds me of my ex for some reason. Bro, Arby's reminds me of bad decisions I made in grad school. One of the kids I used to coach for speech, he's like, you know what we should do? We should go see Beer Fest, but get really drunk. And we did, and we pregame pretty hard. And he said, I know, don't worry. We'll get some Arby's and have some food at Arby's. And then he tried to race me in eating. And I was like, bro, I'm the slowest eater on earth. That's not even a competition. Like, you're going to win. And he kept thinking he was competing against me. And I was like, I'm eating slow. And then I think during Beer Fest, he wanted to throw up midway through. And I was like, well, that's what you get, you dummy. Don't play games with me, kid. I know how to drink and I know how to eat. They're two separate games. Don't combine them into one. But yes, Arby's and I. After that, I don't think we got along too well. Look at Pollyanna, though. Working on a nice little high guard over here. Has to slip it back down to a regular guard. But Beer Fest was fantastic. It's an amazing movie. I fucking love that movie. It's so fucking funny. And I felt we did it proud by getting really drunk to watch it. I was also mad at people who were in the theaters who weren't drunk coming in to watch it. I was like, how are you watching this sober? What's up, Cello Merritt? Oh, look at you. Don't you have a super fight tonight? Is that tonight? What are you doing here? If you don't have a super fight tonight, I don't really hate you. What's up, TJ? Glad you're back. Look, two of my favorite people. I like to pick on TJ a lot because I like training with him. I like to pick on, Tom over here. But Tom, the issue is he's been getting that training with the fucking Williams boys across the pond. Cellamore is telling me all the time. He's like, oh, man, yeah, Ref, when we trained that time, man, it was really close. And we go back and forth. I was like, not anymore. This dude's coming out here. He's going to fucking smoke me the next time we roll. Though I will cheat. So I do have that in my back pocket. Robertson looking way, way more put together in this round after that. They should have made Weed Fest. Listen, dude, they still might. Don't tempt them. They still might put that together. I think the only thing that's a little off right now is I can't tell if Robertson is being just a little too cautious here. But she is very much winning the second round with exceptional control. And it'll be interesting to see if she gets this mount position. She really has her eye on it. She could probably slip it in right now. No. And yes, we're in mount. Boom. Let's drop some elbows here. Let's get this shit done. Pollyanna kind of mitigating some of these strike attempts or thoughts, I guess I should say. Now traps a leg. She does have it in half. It says from the retirement home. Dude, those guys are all active. Jay's directing shit all the time. Those two guys are doing that fire department show, like they're always up to something. And plus, I mean, like they're the type of guys who could still be funny at age 60. So like I got no issue with them. Robertson looking very, very composed, very relaxed. I think at one point, Jesus, a couple of those strikes were this is like hammer fists with no oomph to them, but like a lot of impact to them. Plan is in trouble here, but she might just survive these 36 seconds that are left on the clock. But this is going to be a big round for Robertson, as she is keeping an excellent mount here. Just really good control dynamics. Julian was thinking about that armbar for a split second, though. You could see it in her eyes. She's like, God damn it. If I can just take this arm, I could go home now. She's going to have to give up on that dream as she kind of hikes her up just a little bit more. Yeah. TJ, you doing any grappling? I know you're doing the striking, but I wasn't sure if you were getting in any jiu-jitsu training yet. And they go to the end of the third round coming up in just a few minutes. Good time to remind you guys, if you give us a like and a share on Facebook, then guess what? You get a toast, just like fighters who get finishes within regulations. So that's the note I have for y'all. If you also are not liking and subscribing to us on all of our different channels, we'd appreciate it. It's the least we ask for. Next week, like I mentioned, we're going to have a big show for UFC 254. We'll bring a panel back on. That one will be strictly on the other ones. It says a little bit in See Me and with guys in my department. From your department? Jesus Christ, look at that. Look at that. Well, in See Me, we'll have to see if we can find time to link up, dude. Been wanting to try and get some training in with you. I miss trying to break your arm or try and beat the shit out of you. Look at you, Isaiah. Speaking of people I miss training with, this dude has been dodging me now for 3 years straight. That's 2 years. Yeah. Verbal Tapcast is the best. Well, cheers to you. I just talk shit about you, and I don't know that you heard that before you typed that, but I appreciate you, bro. Yo, by the way, cheers. Look at you. Let's pour some out for the Lakers. And when I say pour some out, I mean straight into my mouth. Because fuck yeah, dude. It was great. We told a little bit of stories on the different shows. What's up? Look at all you kids. I love you guys showing up right now. Seamus, look at you. Hey, we got to get some training in too. I'm seeing all of my friends who I'm supposed to be training with over time. Sullivan, how have you been, man? I want to get some good grappling in with you as well, sir. Especially with your new gear, man. I don't know if you guys know this, but Sullivan over here, he ended up winning our pick'ems for the last UFC. Dude was really on top of his fight game pick'ems on the last one, and will be given a prize package that says he got some from our good friends over at Nogi BJJ Gear. Did you get the gear yet? I meant to send you a follow-up message to find out. I just want to make sure it says, yes, I'm comfortable to get it in soon. Absolutely, man. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Sullivan also has he's got some good solid wrestling, so I like getting in rounds with him so that I can mitigate his wrestling and then just try and beat him up after that, because I'm not trying to wrestle with anybody right now. Bro, I miss fucking our wrestling class. Like our wrestling class, it says mailed it, so coming soon. Okay, good. Please send me a note when you end up getting it, bro. I want to make sure that I am on top of it with you. I'm sure it's coming from some Asian manufacturer that we don't know. What is up? Christic Judo Jiu-Jitsu. That's a lot. You guys do a lot of fucking training over where you're at then. Love it. Jillian, very dominant again, is probably going to slowly make her way back into mount. And I did think I saw a shiner over on the top of Plana's head. So Julian's doing an excellent job here. It's good stuff. Oh, Julian back in mount. Very, very sneaky. And is going to continue to rain down now. She's, again, dude, like, this is her fight to lose. But I think she's almost switching to, like, this knee on belly control. She's bringing in some elbows here. The elbows, I think, are probably what got that shiner on Pollyanna, if I'm being any kind of guesser on any of this action that's taking place. What's up, Strength and Mobility? Sven, Jesus Christ. I love every single person that I talk shit to is slowly but surely showing up. Sven couldn't be bothered to have a marathon training session. No, I'm just kidding, dude. Hope you're doing well, man. I've been waiting to hear big news, sir, so I don't know if anything has happened, but, hopefully some good things have happened. We all know what an oil check is. What is it called when women do it to the front door? I don't know that I'm the comic to pull that one off. Oh, yeah, shit. Sorry. It's cool, man. I see you, bro. Well, Jillian is continuing to put it on Pollyanna. He's born a week old now. Oh, well, okay. See, listen. When I know there's a new edition, first of all, congratulations. But if I know there's a new edition, I can't call you out. I got to give you time to be a father, you know? We're watching the fights together right now. That's what's up. Teach him quick. Teach him soon. So I'll give you some time, and then I'm going to circle back to you. I just started back at NBC this past week, so my training schedule is like it is gone to the shitter. So very happy for you. Congrats to the big family. I know that is huge, man, and I cannot wait to see how the things go for you. But I will tell you, though, that's an unfair advantage because of how little I will be training and how already yoked you are and how good at jiu-jitsu you are. Sullivan says it's been 6 months of no rolling. Yeah. Everybody has different markers, different things that they feel comfortable with, man. And sometimes it's just not conducive. So I know the feeling, man. It's tough. I'm the uncrowned WWE BJJ champion of the world, says Isaiah. It says who, dude? Let me just see here. I mean, I guess if you were, that would be nice. Obviously, it is work of fiction that you're talking about because you couldn't possibly be a WWE BJJ champ because you would need this, right? Like, only WWE BJJ champs actually have a belt, and I have one, and you don't. So, you're not. Plus, you duck training worse than half of the people on this list. They literally can call out people here by name on who has been ducking me. And I'm not even super good. I just talk the best amount of shit. I am the best trash talker of all of our friends. So I'm just saying. I'm not good, but I show up. So anyway, I'm glad that you are enjoying that. It's a good time to tell you guys Jen Robertson is going to get the win here. They're just going to make it official. But yes, Strength and Mobility just said back take. Back take indeed. I think she's maybe a little disappointed she didn't get the finish. Understandable, but she still looked very dominant throughout this fight. So I'll give her that. All right, let's see what DC will formulate as questions for her right now. Tells her you had a fantastic performance. Now is asking a question. Just, I guess, giving her a highlight reel of grappling and saying wrestling was good for you. Was that the game plan? Was this question? So she's saying no matter what, she always feels that her jiu-jitsu is her go-to, her wheelhouse. Yeah, she's pissed about her finish rate being a little bit affected by tonight's performance. Ah, look at that. She literally just called out everybody 1 through 14. That's, one of the better call-outs I think I have seen. I'll take on anybody who's 1 through 49, 1 through 10, 1 through 20. Like, would you have a particular name that you'd like to call out? Anybody 1 through 15? No. Anybody who wants to step in right now, you can get these hands. We can do this shit right now. That's just it's a gamesmanship I appreciate, or gameswomanship. I don't really know how to call that. Somebody might call that sexist. Who cares? Anyway, the last fight of the prelims is coming up. So here's what we're going to do. Sensing some DC dislike. I like DC. I think he's a good person. I would tell you that doing a broadcast job is a different beast. So Joffrey says my maybe was right. Very funny. It was maybe. It was like 40% right. When you do maybe, you're going out on a real ledge there. But yeah, I love DC as a fighter. I think he is an incredible ambassador of the sport. Games personship. Don't come at me with that. I'm not. That's funny too. But I don't love DC as a commentary guy because I feel his best use in the UFC is him on a telestrator showing you moves a couple days removed. But if I have to watch DC live, much like I'm watching him formulate questions live, the questions aren't great. And a lot of times the commentaries, you know, and he knows a lot, man. It's just him being like, oh boy, I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm so excited about this because, oh man, it's, you know, we've always equated DC as the person your dad invited to watch the fights that you go, is he coming tonight? I don't know. He's going to talk about when he won state, right? That's what he's going to do. He's going to tell us one time he wrestled in high school. Oh, we get it. You're a champion, DC. So, no, I just like busting his balls. But I think he's an incredible human being. But let's be very real. Asking somebody, you have really good wrestling and grappling and jiu-jitsu. Was that always the game plan? As an interviewer, hearing a question like that makes me cringe a little bit. Because what's the answer? No, I actually was planning to just be a dipshit. Had no game plan. Walked in. Just thought maybe I'll show up. Won. Yeah, of course my game involved takedowns. What person training right now is not involving all of those things? Especially to a person who literally just told you, yeah, I'm a grappler. Kind of fall back on that one. It's kind of like, oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, Gurum. Kutateladze? That works. What's up, Wilfred? Look at you and your icon. Cheers to that. 8-24 forever, everybody. What a great time in the NBA. NBA had 0 cases. 0 cases in their bubble. We can't even say that on like one fight weekend. Every fight weekend for the UFC, it's been like, this person tested positive for COVID because obviously. So very proud of them and even more proud of our Los Angeles Lakers. I don't know if you guys got in on some Zoom rioting. It's a lot of fun. Instead of going outside and turning over a core, you know what I did? I just got in a Zoom room and we all beat a car up like we were on Street Fighter. I was like, all right, let's just let's kick the shit out of this like we're Ryu and Ken. Shackleton says, I understand. Yeah, I mean, listen, dude, I'm very critical on those people who have the privilege and the honor of being on the microphone for athletes. And I think the thing that's always fun about them is that if you do have fighters, they do have an advantage in that they've been in there so they can explain it. Sometimes they just need somebody to pull it out of them. I think Anik does a just fine job. He's okay. There's no personality for me, and that's kind of, I think, the point. But half the time he just sounds like a robot to me. But I'll never give DC any problems for being passionate about his job because I dig that. I like that a lot. Unbeaten, 17-0 with 1 no contest. This is his UFC debut. So this will be very interesting to see how he does this as he spider crawls into the octagon right now. Gives a nice little quick prayer. What is up, John Thomas? Yo, Sven, you are not lying, bro. When you say that this fight is going to be nasty, I think you're right, man. I don't know that this one goes to a decision. So we'll start with that. Dan Hardy is my guy. I like Hardy. It's so weird. We've played this game on our telecast before where we say, are they good? Or is it just because they're British? And I think this a lot because I think to myself, would I think they were a good broadcaster if they didn't have the accent? That's sometimes with Hardy. I don't know. I mean, I think it's important to be fun and understand what they do well and understand how to pull the best out of people. But anybody who works in television, all we ever think is, how do we make this better? So that's it, man. That's our job always, to make something fun and entertaining. People can kind of sit back, relax, and enjoy for funsies. Both. Yeah, could be. But yeah, Hardy's, I think he's grown a lot, though. I think, actually, of the athletes who have gone in there to interview afterwards, Hardy's probably had the best post-fight interviews. Also, he went up to go accost Herb Dean. That was kind of fun. I know people were like, that's unprofessional. I was like, who's professional in our sport? Y'all can sit down. All right, here we go. Round number 1, 4 minutes and 50 seconds on my clock, and we are starting very aggressively. Kutaladze, how do we say his name? Kutaladze is coming in with some kicks right now. Gamrot is highly focused, a lot of movement between both the gents, very light on both feet. Coming in with the kicks again. With one, I got to change the banner on our main broadcast. My apologies if I did not put this up. And it says, has UFC blackballed Margarita? Don't know that. That's a good question. I will look into that and maybe get back to you a little bit later on it. I cannot tell you with any certainty right now that they have not. Good takedown over here. But Gamrot, okay, we have the branding up there. My apologies to people walking on the Facebook. Ooh, is this motherfucker going to hit a rubber guard here? You better stop that shit, bro. Damn, man. That's some flexibility. Good on him. Aggressively coming in right now. Gurnham actually is very adept and flexible here. I like that he missed on the rubber guard, but is still kind of closing out the options for Gamrot to really not be able to hit him as badly as most people would take in this position. Moves him back up. Could be trying to isolate this arm here, dude. This is an interesting spot. Gamrot wise to it, but maybe not wise to a leg attack here. He passes it on over. This could be an inside heel hook right here. This motherfucker is going to try a fucking heel hook. Armbar. Yeah, I know. You know what the fuck he's doing. That motherfucker's body type is just like yours, Sven. I'm way weary to it. And he tries to respond with a leg attack of his own, spins out of it, gets out, and goes very quickly. Actually, if I'm being honest, that exchange is 100% what Sven and I will try to do to each other. That starts with Sven doing a really angerful armbar to me, and then me usually probably trying to leg lock the shit out of him. So, yeah, no, that's par for the course for us. Sven has that good tall person armbar that, like, he can do at any length where, like, you think you're safe and then you just see your arm get snatched up and you're like, you will not armbar me. You can fuck off right now, Sven. So that's That's a lot of fun exchanges. You would see us in a super fight mode, but you know how much he's ducking me. I need to go have a kid so that I couldn't train with him. Just saying. Just goes to show. He just really doesn't want a marathon sesh. So just saying, bro, it's cool. It's cool. I mean, listen, beautiful things for your family, but I'm just, you know what I mean? Gamrot with a nice jab setup that into a spinning, try to take out the leg there, position for a good wrestling takedown. Doesn't get it, but I love the setup for it. It looked awesome, man. People start to integrate both that setup with a little bit of boxing with their wrestling. Sometimes people pull that shit off really, really nice. If I was listening to DC right now, you'd probably hear him say 19 different things about it, but you're hearing me talk about it. Good charge there by one Guram. I mean, here's the interesting thing that I'm seeing about this fight, just where we're at right now, is that I think we expect this to be a nasty fight, and this is really just the prelude to that. Jesus. Guram, for a split second, I thought he was going to fucking kick a down opponent there. Nope, everybody gets a short talking to. No time off the clock on that. But I was just saying how I know Sven was kind of putting it out there that he thought that this fight might be nasty. I still think we might be due a nasty fucking fight in the second round. I think he was squatted. Yeah, it's dicey, man. I think the fact that the ref actually kind of went over to him and said, hey, I don't know if that was bad, but if it was, don't. And it said that looked close from Shackles. Yeah, I agree. All right, next round's coming in. How do you guys have that one scored? Do you have that one for Gamrot, or do you have that one for Kudaladze? That's just what I'm going to call him. I will take who you think is winning the first fight round in the chat. Tell me here or just in general. I mean, even if you text me, I'm sure I'll take your question. But that is what I'm putting. Tie. Wow. Sorry about that, everybody. The camera unplugged for a split second, so I got to put that back on our main broadcast. There we go. Now you guys see me live and in living color. I got Shackles that says Gamrot. Close, though. Slight edge for Gamrot. Okay. I think we're all on a very similar page here. We go now to the next round. Someone also just put Gamrot. So it does look like the collective of you are kind of in that Gamrot phase. Now, Sven, is when I think we might see a little bit more of a batshit crazy fight. Because now you got one fighter who's likely down, and you got another fighter who's probably been picking apart the timing in that first round. So let's see what happened. Who makes the adjustments? Who comes in with a better game plan? Who is able to implement a better strategy? Everybody, again, my name is Rafa Sparza. I host many different shows. The two you're probably most interested are Verbal Tap and the Grappling Hour. Right now, we're on Grappling Hour on the Instagram, and then we're on Grappling Hour properties for Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Here we go. Good takedown attempt by Gamrot, who's going to run him across the other side of the cage. Gets a nice couple pops in there. They circle back on out to the center of the octagon right over here. Good kick. Now we're seeing a little bit more urgency with Guram here. Guram coming in with a series of good hooks. What's up, Duncan? Good to see you, bro. Good kicks. I would love to see Guram continue with these kicks. At the very least, it keeps Gamrot at bay and may help him in terms of him trying to come in for some of these takedowns here. If you see somebody who's got really solid kicks and they are connecting and they might make you wince, it might change the course of how that guy is going to shoot in. At the very least, It could seem like a very smart offensive move that has some defense to it for just making sure you stand upright. Gamrot rushes in, gets a nice right hand on him, though. Beautifully done. And again, we are seeing Grum utilize those kicks very nicely. Beautifully done. This is a good fight. It is way more tense. And it says, is that Kazmat Chimev's training partner? That is a great question. I will put that to our crew over here. Y'all can tell me if that is Kazmat's training partner, and I will relay that to you. IA Mace 44. Coming back with it, though. Nice kick. Good setup there. Got 2:20 left to go in this second round. They are stylistically very nice here. Ooh, that's nice. I like seeing Guram. Guram, when he gets on the inside, though, he really wants to fucking let go. And some of these fucking combinations, some of these hooks he puts together look like they do not feel nice. I haven't heard anything back from the collective group here. I'm Ace, or I am Ace. I am Ace. Is that what that is? I'm trying to figure that out. Oh no. One of my friends just put up a dog is missing. Boo. Well, that blows. All right, back to the action at hand. Gamrot is working on a pass right now. Ooh, but yeah, Guram. Ooh, trying to go for this beautiful omoplata setup. He's bendy enough to fucking pull this off, and Gamrot at the very least has to respect it, and he is able to break free of it. Works toward a traditional pass. However, Guram gets him back into guard very easily. Wish I could do that shit. Goes right back to rubber guard, and to complement the rubber guard, starts raining down some elbows on the top of Gamrot's head that just seem to like make him more angry as he gets back up. Gamrot is not somebody who likes being elbowed in the back of the head and likes to take anybody's shit for that. Good for him, dude. Good exchanges here. It's going to be a very interesting round to score as well. It's a very wacky fight. I mean, I think the Gamrot still has the edge, all things considered, but I think the third round could be anybody's game, man. Goes for a takedown with just 7 seconds left, slips out of it, drags him back down. Gamrot with the excellent wrestling here, and then just decides for funsies, maybe throw a hook. Wow. Great stuff. Good fight, everybody. My God. All right, fam. We are continuing to watch along on this fight night. We are having a great time. I'm very much appreciating you guys for tuning in along with us. My name is Rafa Esparza. As I mentioned earlier, I host a show called The Grappling Hour and Verbal Tap, and it says right hook from the Gulf. Yeah. Dude, every time he throws those combinations, man, I just fucking wince. And dude, the worst part is when you start training boxing, and sometimes they'll ask you if you don't have your proper footwork, and they'll be like, throw a hook, and your stance is like garbage. You throw a hook and you go, how do people really do this? Because I don't know how anybody has power to this. I don't have power. And then you watch something like this and you see the power that's invested in it, and you go, God damn. Boxing and striking is fucking hard. Third and final round. We are at 4:50 on my clock. Hopefully it is similar on yours. We continue on in a very close fight that you have to believe. I mean, I still think the edge is with Gamrot, but we've already seen tonight that a decision kind of went a different way. Beautiful shoot in by Gamrot, who uses it almost as a distraction. Now is underneath, comes back in, and this is going to give won Gurham the opportunity to do his shit. What's up, C-Tech 10? I see you with your gang signs in the middle of your photo right there. 2 gentlemen, just to make sure they do not. Oh my God. Rob is saying that this is 2018 for Gurham. I don't know about that, man. I don't know that I could see that, but okay. Gurham is at -245 and Gamrot is at +175. Definitely a phone. Some gang signs. Pretty sure it is, bro. Don't tell me what I'm seeing. I see what I see. I'm like the news media. I just look at the photo and then I just make my own decisions. I don't do any investigating. I know what I see. Thank you for joining us on Fight Night. I hope you're enjoying your day wherever you are. We're in the third and final round of what is probably fight of the night thus far in between Gamrot and Kutaladze. This is what I'm going to call him. Kutate Ladze. I don't know. I'm going to keep saying it different each time. Continuing on, we see 3 minutes are left on this clock as Gamrot comes in for a takedown, gets it. Now, this is going to be very important. You're going to see Gurham try to come back in with the rubber guard, and every time you see Gamrot do an excellent job of staying out of that range. It's a Saboteur Invitational, enjoying it from Florida. Oh, sick. Yeah, I forgot that's happening. It says you could run NBC with those observation skills. Yeah, sometimes easier said than done. There's a joke that goes around NBC that we say sometimes that we go, if you're too competent at your job, you will not get promoted. So it's a real dangerous mix of try to have your shit together but not look too dumb. You know, you commentator one of my matches. Yeah, which match was that one, dude? I'm sure I have. Was that at the... I would assume it would be the Philly one. Would that be the finishers? Which one? Tell me. I don't know exactly which area you're based in, so I'm just guessing here. Or it could be Ultimate Mountain Warriors. It could be a number of different things. I've commentated a bit. We didn't get any answer to you. I am Mace44. Let's just say it is. No one can prove me right or wrong at this point, so I'm just going to run with that. Word. Gamrot. I can't tell if he's just tired at this point. Not really finishing some of these combinations, just kind of running through the motions. Oh, nice. But gets a takedown. Jesus Christ, man. The ease in which some of these takedowns happen is just too ridiculous sometimes. Last minute here to go. And we mentioned this. Sven was the one to put it out there and saying he thought that this would be a hell of a fight. And Sven was not wrong, man. I mean, this is a very solid fight. Both these gents are starting to be on the wear and tear side of 15 minutes of just standing and banging as they connect on the same time on a kick. Blah. Yikes. Last 30. Look at this. Significant strikes. 17-9 for Gamrot's favor over on this side, who gets another takedown. What a beautifully timed dude to get all these takedowns. And Gurham trying to rechamber that arm with the funky style of grappling that he has. I mean, that looks like a terrible person to roll with who just fucking finds his way back to rubber guard every single time. And we are done. And that is going to be an impressive display by both gents. Gamrot looked good, man. I like the way he looks, dude. 30-29 with that takedown. Okay, thank you. I was about to be like, 30-29 is a score that cannot exist. Like, this isn't a game show where you can get extra points for, you know, finding the right kind of apple in a tree. Like, it's not how that works. But yes, 30-27. I don't know. It's going to be 30-27. I get the feeling there might be some tomfoolery amongst the ranks that are going on right now. So might be dicey. But I will take what you guys have in the comment section. Cheeto dust on fingers. Absolutely, bro. So just to fill you in, here's what we're going to do. Since we're coming up at the top of the hour, we're going to take a slight break. We're going to get resituated, and then we're going to come back for the main card with a new broadcast. So don't go anywhere. We're not going anywhere. We're just going to take a short little break after they do the reveal, and then we're gonna party, dude. We're gonna make our way through the main card. We are flying through this card thus far in, and we're having a blast. I appreciate all of you guys for stopping in. I always have a blast when you guys show up and come to shoot the shit whenever we're covering fights and doing fight companions. We are already just, we've already seen some good shit here tonight. All right, here we go. Decision time. 29-28 for Kutalanze, so it's split. Wow. 29-28, and as I said, there might be some tomfoolery here. Yeah, DC is signaling for an interpreter ASAP. No, bro, come here. He just told him it's interview time. Yeah. Gurm says he loves DC to begin with. Oh, dude, Gurm is even saying the other guy won.
Thank you so much. Of course, I'm not happy because this is not what I want.
He says he's not happy, but and he's he basically went up to his opponent, said it was his fight, and is being very honest here and saying that. Shango says, I see Kazmat. Garrett lost to a guy that doesn't have electricity, robbed. Well, okay. That's kind of cool to see. But I am Mace. We have the answer for you now. I don't know that you're here anymore. Either way, all right. Here's what we're doing. Short break. Come back to find us at Grappling Hour. Actually, I'm going to do the reverse. At Grappling Hour on YouTube, Facebook, and on Twitch or Twitter. And then on Instagram, come find us at Grappling Hour. I'm sorry, at Verbal Tap Cast. We will be back in a few minutes. We're going to let them reset, and then we're going to be back for the last 5. All right. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you guys back in a few minutes. Peace.